What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Last Night podcast. I am your host, Primal, and in today's episode, guys, let's break down Major 4 and give my thoughts. And Champs weekend is this week. We've got less than 2 days to go. Tomorrow is going to be my Champs prediction. So, guys, tune in for that. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I greatly appreciate it. And I'm just excited to be back recording fresh content with you guys. I've still got some pre-recorded stuff for you guys. But either which way, let's crack on into it. And we will be going through power rankings pre-champs. We will be doing some roster mania news. So let's get it. All right, hang on a sec, chat. All right, let's. So I'm just going. Okay, so guys, this major was an absolute cinematic start to end. And let me tell you guys, my bracket, if you guys did not go watch my bracket, hold my socks, baby. It was insane. I was starting to lose my mind. Because look on your left side of the screen at the bracket. I predict all Friday correctly. I basically predict all Saturday correctly. The only thing I got wrong was FaZe losing to Thieves, but still, I had the top 4 teams correct going into Sunday. The only thing that definitely was a bit of a what the heck just happened moment was Jomits getting FaZe in Game 5. I thought FaZe was going to absolutely bippity-bop murder them and get into losers final, but not the case, chat. So, yeah, let's talk about this. The fact that I almost had a flawless bracket outside of the loss of FaZe and Jomits versus it speaks words to how I'm able to analyze and give my thoughts proper and all. So I'm excited to see how Champs plays out. So I'll probably, once I have that prediction out, I'll let you guys know. But OpTic, oh my gosh, they get their first major win of the season, breaking their silver server curse. So a round of applause to them, and let me tell you, goes Game 7 in OpTic, driver's seat, murder, double nade out of Shotzi and Datchi in the final round on Overload, Search and Destroy. It's like, oh my gosh. Could FaZe could have gotten to grand finals? Yes, I really think FaZe could have. It's like FaZe was dominant in the respawns. Like they were they were literally picking teams apart. It's like, yeah, did they have to try and reverse Thieves? Yeah, but when you watch how FaZe were playing compared to their Major 3 split, they were dominant. Also, shout out to Thieves for breaking the Cold War win streak curse. Bravo to them, but they end up losing it to OpTic, but they still are now the official record place holders. So, yeah, we need to see how this is going to go. So let's quickly talk about. Sorry, I'm just hiccuping. All right, yeah, let's quickly talk about. Yeah, okay, so post Major 4, there were roster changes. Falcons go to do a 2-man target for EWC as well as Champs. Kismet and Pred get put to the bench. Aluka and Neptune were the prospects. They get Aluka for Pred. However, Neptune does not want to play for Falcons. And his advisors were saying that, oh, what if in the offseason Falcons are like, oh, we're dropping you. Bye-bye. We don't want you anymore. And they go with someone else. So job security and stuff. And honestly, in esports, it can be a cutthroat business sometimes. So I can understand that. But it's like, you have a chance to play at EWC and Champs. If you get a team offer, you take it. It's like, you don't have to sign a 1-year contract in order to play. It's like, it could just be a 2-week, it could literally just be a 2-week contract, and then you can look at other possibilities. It's like, so I feel like Neptune probably jumbled through a bit and made a grave mistake. Now, Luca in for the Falcons. This is going to be interesting because I'm curious to see what happens at Champs, and I'll show you guys the bracket later on in the podcast. And we will be doing power rankings, so yeah. What else? Yeah, so I was like, wait, hold on a sec. Why was I seeing G2 in losers round 1? But then I was like, wait, no, they didn't get there. So whoops. I will say G2 definitely was scary looking at Major 4. But when it came down to it, Gelmits just got done in losers bracket, made G2 look a bit bot like, so yeah. Overall, it was it was interesting trying to watch the games at so early in the morning. I think they were like 8 o'clock Eastern Coast time, so that definitely threw my brain for trying to figure out how am I going to get up to watch the matches. So yeah, I will say OpTic, now that they've got their major under their belt, question is, can they keep locked in for champs? And going into champs, let's talk about that a little bit more. So hang on a second. So here is the bracket going into champs. I'm not going to break it down fully. That'll be tomorrow's video, but when I do my predictions, I'm going to show possible probabilities of what things could happen. So, just initial thoughts based off the bracket. Feels like the top side is going to be really easy, and the bottom side could be a real bloodbath. So, those are my thoughts initially. Also, just remembered this. So going into this week, the developers for Black Ops 7 mentioned Frequency, a Black Ops 4 map, and I'm just like, where was this? It's like we could have had this earlier this season. They mentioned it earlier this season. Yeah. Honestly, I've got some major thoughts of why we haven't been playing Frequency, maybe even Arsenal. Like, they could have added Arsenal into the maps. Like, what are we doing, chat? We could have had Black Ops 4 remastered maps for Black Ops 7. That would have been magical to see. I would have loved to see that. Like, Hasi, Gridlock, it's like Hasi, Gridlock, Arsenal, Frequency. Oh my gosh. What other maps could we have gotten? Seaside? Like we had, I believe, the alternate mode of Seaside for MW3, so they could have remastered Seaside and thrown it in. Like, why not? But that's just my little rant. So, all right. Now, let's talk about the power rankings. All right, so these are my power rankings going into pre-champs for this week. I've got Heretics in for one final time of the regular season before EWC. Let me break down the tiers. Blowed up, team is chalked. Online Warriors doesn't count, and they could, yeah. Online Warriors means you're good online, but when it comes to lane, you just pure struggle. Confused is the chemistry is not really clicking, but it can click when it needs to. Dark Horse are teams I could see making runs at championships. Or upsetting big teams, or maybe even somehow, some way, getting a championship trophy, or maybe even champs. But this would be absolute madness and insanity if it did happen, ladies and gentlemen. So I've got Toronto, G2, and Riyadh. Riyadh, I'm going to put Riyadh down confused because I'm not sure how this is going to click now that Pred is out of the lineup. So curious to see how this turns out. G2 is definitely the top pick, I would say, for dark horse teams. And Toronto, it could be very murky on how they could get upsets. Yeah. Contenders, Jailmates, it's like that team's definitely gotten better ever since the roster change. And finally, your top three people. Now, let me talk about this, guys. People are like, oh, OpTic and Thieves going to be in grand finals. Either one could win. Guys, listen to me and hear me out. FaZe Vegas, look at how they played. They struggle Major 1. They bomb out. Major 2 comes around. They get the chip and beat OpTic. Major 3. They struggle. Their search and destroy is off. Simp is going through his issues. Major 4. This is where the puzzle starts coming together more. FaZe Vegas. Look at their response. Absolute dominance, absolute comebacks, absolute able to turn the map on its head when need be. Did they struggle against certain teams? Yes. However, look at their map pool compared to 3 to 4 and how they were playing on the map. Look at how they're getting trades. Listen to their comms. Watch their mini map. Watch the arrows on the mini map. FaZe is literally clicking. It's like, did they not win? Sure, but they are starting to really solidly click at the right time. As I'm saying, it's like teams I feel are overlooking FaZe. Yes, there was a clip of Heretics slamming FaZe in scrims. However, listen to this. Yes, you be like, oh my gosh, we're slamming FaZe. However, FaZe could be using this information to literally plot out teams' weaknesses, figure out their issues, and take those 2 weeks to tweak those micro adjustments needed. Like any good team will use those 2 weeks for micro adjustments. They're not making roster changes. If you're making roster changes, I expect it to be a worthy and much needed roster change. Like I'm not trying to say the roster change Falcons did is horrible, but it's just okay. I will wait till the end of EWC to change. I feel like people are just hating on FaZe because FaZe is FaZe, but they're my boys. I've got to keep rooting and fighting for them until the very end of time. So, yeah. Thieves, OpTic, you could honestly put them either first or second. FaZe, I just feel like you get that FaZe that clicks together, you're not going to be able to fight them all at once. Like, I'm sorry, but the fact that FaZe can be clicking at the right, the fact that FaZe is really looking to click and is clicking at the right time and stuff is saying other things that people need to look at. Also, I forgot to mention, the Thieves FaZe, Game 5, Round 11. Hydra did stair glitch, and if Hydra hadn't stair glitched, I feel like the series could have gone in favor of FaZe. Like, FaZe had the numbers. FaZe could have waited. Well, if Hydra hadn't stair glitched, FaZe had numbers, they would have got the round, and then who knows what would have happened. But yeah, sorry if I ranted, guys. Sorry if I went on a long rant. I'm just trying to make people see my thought and logical process behind my thoughts. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you all in the next one. See you tomorrow for champs, pick'ems, and predictions. Peace out.